Let's settle something right now. G-Shock is not a budget brand. It is not a consolation prize for people who can't afford better. It is one of the most technically serious watch lines on the planet. And in 2026, it is dominating the market in ways that Swiss manufacturers with 10 times the price tag simply cannot match. Shock resistance that survives drops that would destroy a Rolex. Solar charging that eliminates battery anxiety forever. Atomic timekeeping that self-corrects to within a second per 100,000 years. At prices that make the competition look embarrassing. Today, we're counting down the 5 G-Shock watches worth owning in 2026. From the legendary square that started it all to the titanium masterpiece sitting at the very top of the G-Shock throne. This list covers every level of the G-Shock lineup and tells you exactly which one belongs on your wrist. Stick around for number 1, because it is in a league entirely its own. Number 5. Casio G-Shock DW5600. Every legend has an origin. For G-Shock, this is it. The DW5600 is not inspired by the original 1983 G-Shock. It essentially is the original G-Shock, the same iconic square silhouette, the same brutally functional digital display, the same philosophy of building a watch so tough that it laughs at the things that destroy conventional timepieces. Casio engineer Kikuo Ibe dropped his father's watch down a flight of stairs and watched it shatter. He spent 2 years obsessing over the solution. What he came up with changed watchmaking permanently. The DW5600 carries all of that DNA forward without apology. The resin case and strap absorb shocks and impacts that would crack steel cases. The module sits inside a structure engineered to isolate it from force, vibration, and pressure. Water resistance runs to 200 meters, a specification that makes most luxury dive watches look conservative. Drop it, throw it, forget it in a bag for 6 months. It simply does not care. The digital display is clean, functional, and immediately legible. Chronograph, countdown timer, world time, and multifunction alarm cover every practical need without cluttering the interface. Battery life stretches to approximately 2 years before you need to think about it. And the weight, almost nothing. You will forget it is on your wrist. Number 4. Casio G-Shock GA700. If the DW5600 is the origin, the GA700 is what happens when G-Shock decides to get serious about presence. The GA700 is big. At 49.5 meters with a case thickness that makes no attempt at subtlety, this is a watch that announces itself. The large analog hands sweep across a dial that layers analog and digital information in a way that is immediately readable, even in darkness, even with gloves on, even at a glance. That dual-layer display is not a gimmick. It is a genuinely practical solution for people who need real-time information fast. The oversized crown at 9 o'clock is a signature design element that makes the GA700 instantly recognizable. But beyond aesthetics, it gives the watch a grip point that feels purposeful and satisfying to operate. Every element here communicates the same message. Built to be used by people who actually use things. The 200-meter water resistance makes this a legitimate all-environment companion. The shock-resistant structure absorbs the kind of everyday abuse that most watches quietly suffer through and eventually fail from. Battery life runs to approximately 3 years, meaning this watch will outlast most people's attention spans before it ever asks anything of you. Number 3. Casio G-Shock GWM516. Here is where G-Shock stops being impressive and starts being genuinely extraordinary. The GWM5610 takes everything that makes the DW5600 legendary and adds 2 technologies that fundamentally change what it means to own a watch. Tough solar charging, meaning this watch converts any light source, sunlight, or indoor fluorescent into stored energy, giving it a power reserve of up to 10 months in complete darkness. And multiband 6 atomic timekeeping, meaning it receives radio signals from 6 atomic clock stations around the world, automatically correcting itself to within 1 second per 100,000 years. Let that sit for a moment. This watch, in this square resin case that costs $150, keeps more accurate time than a Swiss mechanical movement costing 50 times as much. It never needs a battery. It never needs you to set it. It wakes up every morning already correct, already charged, already ready. That is not a feature. That is a complete reimagining of what a reliable watch should be. The case shape pays direct homage to the 1983 original, and that connection to history gives the GWM5610 a kind of credibility that purely modern designs cannot manufacture. It is slim for a G-Shock. It wears cleanly under a cuff. It is equally at home in a field, on a factory floor, or in a business casual environment where its understated square profile reads as confident rather than aggressive. 200-meter water resistance. Full shock protection. Negative display option. Auto backlight that activates the moment you tilt your wrist toward your face. Every practical detail has been considered and executed without cutting a single corner. Number 2. Casio G-Shock. GA2100. The GA2100 did something that very few watches at any price have ever pulled off. It made G-Shock fashionable without making it soft. The design is the story here. Casio took the iconic octagonal bezel, a direct reference to the 1983 original, and built it into the slimmest G-Shock profile ever created. At 11.8 mm thick, the GA2100 wears in a way that traditional G-Shocks simply cannot. It fits under a shirt cuff. It sits flat against the wrist. It does not fight your clothing or demand accommodation, and yet it delivers every core G-Shock specification without compromise. Shock resistance. 200-meter water resistance. Carbon core guard structure. A carbon fiber reinforced resin inner case that protects the module from impacts with less mass than traditional constructions. The GA2100 is genuinely lighter and slimmer than its G-Shock siblings while being equally indestructible. That is an engineering achievement worth acknowledging. The analog-digital dial combination gives this watch visual depth that purely digital G-Shocks cannot match. World time, stopwatch, countdown timer, and daily alarm cover every functional need. And the clean, minimalist aesthetic that the GA2100 projects opened G-Shock to audiences that had previously dismissed the brand as too aggressive, too large, or too niche. Number 1. Casio G-Shock. MTG B3000. This is not just the best G-Shock on this list. This is one of the most seriously engineered timepieces available at any price in 2026. Full stop. The MTG B3000 sits at the top of the metal-twisted G series, Casio's premium G-Shock line that applies traditional Japanese craftsmanship techniques to the G-Shock platform and produces something that has no direct competitor in the watch world. Nothing else does what this watch does at this price, and very little does what it does at double the price. Start with the case. Full titanium construction throughout, case and bracelet, with DLC coating providing scratch resistance that makes stainless steel look vulnerable by comparison. Titanium gives you strength that matches or exceeds steel at roughly half the weight. The DLC surface is harder than most materials you will ever put your watch against. This is a watch built for people who wear their watch like they mean it, and it simply does not show wear. The finishing is where the MTG B3000 goes from impressive to extraordinary. Casio applies Zaratsu polishing to the titanium surfaces, a hand polishing technique traditionally associated with Grand Seiko, requiring skilled artisans, significant time, and obsessive attention to detail. The result is a distortion-free mirror finish with razor-sharp transitions between polished and brushed surfaces. You do not expect this level of finishing from a G-Shock. You do not expect it from most watches costing twice as much. It is genuinely surprising, and it is genuinely beautiful. Functionally, the MTG B3000 stacks its specifications without compromise. Tough solar charging ensures permanent maintenance-free power. Multi-band 6 atomic timekeeping self-corrects to atomic accuracy automatically. Bluetooth connectivity syncs with your smartphone for additional precision and additional functions. Shock resistance and 200-meter water resistance maintain full G-Shock credentials. This is not a G-Shock that traded toughness for elegance. It kept both.